Welcome back to Business and Politics. We're talking to Mr. ROMMEL JUAN of the Electric Vehicle Association of the Philippines. Well, I had the opportunity to interview Secretary Pascual here of Trade on this program, and I asked him the question, was it the right policy to give the incentives to import CBUs, or completely built up units, and maybe why not knock down units, so at least you have you encourage local assembly and create more jobs here. But he was saying that that was just the preliminary stage. But what do you think? Do you think the government is doing enough, or what can the government do more to help people like you and your industry to realize that dream of making Southeast Asia as the supplier of the global supplier of EV vehicles?
Well, at this point, I believe it's a good start.
Okay.
No? That they allowed tax-free importation of the electric vehicles para lumaki yung adoption. No? And sa totoo lang, di rin naman natin kaya mag-assemble dito. We don't have the volume for that. No? So, okay lang yun. But however, there is a possibility for us to assemble locally, yan, yung mga public utility vehicles, PUVs, electric tricycles, even electric motorcycles, pwede natin yan i-assemble. So siguro we would need more support on that. Kaya lang yun nga, the raw materials for that and everything EV related, okay na eh. Wala nang tariff eh.
Okay.
Siguro, kailangan na lang natin is help with financing, help with the technical support. Yan, kasi yan, kailangan natin ng know-how on how to produce it, no? Kasi medyo dyan lamang ang Taiwan, ang Thailand, no? They have the engineering and the engineering know-how to really build it. I was just in Thailand and I visited their a factory that they have that makes electric motorcycles. They produce about 300 units a month pa lang. Pero grabe yung R&D, grabe yung production line. Talagang high-tech, no? Those are the things that we need also here. So what can the government do to help us set up things like that? No? And yun, of course, yung supply chain, kailangan maayos din natin. Yun nga, member kami ng Philippine Parts Maker Association.
Does the EVIDA cover parts for
it does.
Electric and hybrid? Okay.
It does.
Okay.
So
that's good.
That's good. That's good. Pero yun nga, we still, sabi nga nila, I looked at, I like benchmarking, no? I like benchmarking with other countries. Look at Malaysia. Malaysia has their national car, yung Proton, tsaka yung Perduan nila. A lot of people say, oh, that's a failure because, you know, it's subsidized by the government. You know, kung tanggalin yung subsidy, hindi nakikita yan. But if you go to Malaysia, if you take a taxi, 100% Perdua, lahat. And it's a nice vehicle, no? And if you talk about their parts makers there, they're progressing. They're so successful because they're all producing for the national car. I still dream of the day na magkaroon tayo ng national car, no? Things like that.
You were saying kanina that the BUI was looking maybe at the idea of incentivizing the building of a chassis for certain class of vehicles.
Yes.
I was going to ask you, how do you think, or what role do you think the Philippines will play? Kasi in the conventional market now, as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, we produce the wire harness, diba? The transmissions are produced here, and then the body is produced in Thailand, and probably the rubbers and the tires are in Malaysia, because and then it's brought together. What role do you think the Philippines can play? What position should we aim at? Diba? If we're looking at the ASEAN system, I mean, based on the people that you've been talking to around the region.
Well, sa akin nga, I'm thinking it's a good idea yung sa BOI to incentivize that 7-meter chassis.
Okay.
No? Kasi at least yun, may demand locally.
Okay.
No? At magagamit natin locally. So there are talks where they want
to
give the third slot of the CARS program chassis, pero gusto nila electric. No?
I see.
So I support that kasi at least yun, merong base. Base. Kaya tayo natatalo ng ibang bansa, like Thailand, Indonesia, because their domestic base is larger than ours.
Yeah.
So they produce more. They have the economies of scale.
Yeah.
So pag tayo nag-produce dito, mas mahal kaysa sa pinoproduce doon. So they, the office here just imports from Thailand and Indonesia. No? Pero kung halimbawa, jeepney, wala namang gamit ang jeepney, PUV sa Thailand and Indonesia. So, yun, meron kang niche, no? So, I believe we can start with that niche and work from there.
And you were saying kanina that Indonesia did something interesting, which is to limit their exports of nickel, and you were saying that maybe that's something the Philippines should look at. Does that resonate with the people you talk to? I mean, who can make those decisions, or do we still need to educate them on the...
Honestly, wala pa akong ibang nakakausap na who share that idea. No? Siguro it's just the regular people. In all honesty, I'm not really familiar with the nickel industry in the Philippines. Although we have EVAP and the Philippine Nickel Association have a partnership. I don't know if that's a direction that they want to look at. Definitely, I know that the Philippine Nickel Association is looking at battery manufacturing and things like that. So yun, sana yun matuloy, no? Kasi if we can do that here in the Philippines, edi mas kumbaga yung nickel natin mas high value na when it comes out. Hindi yung,
rather than ore.
Other than yung parang
raw
materials mauubos lang.
And where do you want to bring this talks to? I mean, yung pag-ikot mo around ASEAN, where do you want this to lead to? Are you looking at parang establishing a network, or is it a company, or is it an ecosystem that you're looking at? Parang what are the talks about?
Right now, it's just still preliminary, so it's network pa lang. We're establishing the network. But definitely what we want to go towards is to create the ecosystem nga. No? So identifying kung saan ba tayo pwedeng medyo maka-advantage dito, diba? Saan ba where will the Philippines really fit in the puzzle, no? May niche naman talaga eh. Meron tayong mahahanap, no? Yun nga, as you mentioned, wiring harnesses. Yasaki Torres is still the largest manufacturer, and that's our top exporter of automotive parts is Yasaki Torres. So yun, it's proven that we can do it, no? We just need to si Astor baka nanonood. We just need to replicate what those companies are doing.
In your visits around the region, one thing I wanted to ask you this, because one thing I heard in Jakarta when I was there was that putting together an electric vehicle is not anything like the conventional assembly of cars. And one analogy that I heard from one guy was saying it's more akin to assembling a smartphone. Rather than a vehicle. So, since you mentioned Yasaki Torres, are they going to have a role to play in the future, you think? Or, I'm not very familiar with the engineering. This is your area. Would companies like that have a role to play maybe in the electric age of manufacturing?
Meron pa rin. Although, it's more on electronics now. If you go even in the States, yung electronic show at saka yung EV show magkasama na eh.
I see.
No? The future electric vehicles will be more like computers than cars. No? And it's totally different. I mean, moving parts, 3,500 moving parts in a ICE vehicle, internal combustion. Mga 350 lang ang electric. So, actually, it will really change the whole industry because it doesn't require much service anymore. Hindi na kailangan ng change oil.
Fewer moving parts.
Hindi ka na magpapa-change oil. Ang servicing na lang palit gulong eh.
Software.
Software. And you get it's through the cloud now. The software is through the cloud. So I'm excited. Even yung self-driving will actually this is a prediction. Self-driving technology will come even faster than the electrification of all the cars. Kasi the technology for self-driving is developing faster than battery technology. So, baka mauna pa yan.
Wow.
So, kaya lang, parang automatic to with electric cars eh.
Yeah.
So, parang i-retrofit mo pa yung ice cars with this technology. Na. So, yun, nag-iiba na talaga. But,
Yeah.
you know, I was just in Bangkok with members of EVAP. I was with si Dr. Joel Makatula. He's a neurosurgeon. He has 3 electric vehicles.
Wow.
BYD Song, a BYD Dolphin, and a Wuling Game Boy. No?
Yeah.
Alam mo, sabi niya, I don't have range anxiety. Sabi niya, because if your electric car has a range of 300 to 400 kilometers, you'll never finish it in Manila.
Yeah.
Sabi niya, I mean, in the Philippines, perfect ang electric vehicles kasi di naman ganun kalayo.
Yeah.
Diba? I mean, how often do you go to Baguio?
Yeah.
Or how often do you go to Bicol?
Yeah.
No? So, but yun nga, meron ng charging stations established,
Yeah.
yung mga fast charge stations in mid-centers now eh. No?
Yeah.
So, actually, yung range anxiety, pag tinatanong ako, hindi naman yan valid sa Pilipinas. Because the average travel of a Filipino, siguro is mga 50 kilometers a day lang.
Yeah, at most. And most of that's in traffic.
Most of that's in traffic. Yeah. So, you can charge in your office, you can charge at home.
Yeah.
220 volt lang na charge. Hindi mo kailangan ng fast charger all the time. Actually, slow is the way to go nga daw eh.
Interesting. Rommel, we'll be right back. We'll just have to take a quick break. You're watching Business and Politics. Please stay tuned.